Hello, everyone. There was some time ago, there was someone who did a tweet, and for me, that tweet was so apt. And the tweet, although it's now called X, the X post said, if someone explains Nigeria to you and you understood it, you understand the explanation that the person did, then that person did not explain Nigeria very well to you. Nigeria is something that defies understanding, explanation, or anything. Whatever kind of theory you have about something somewhere working this thing, the moment you bring Nigeria in the question, it doesn't work. It becomes something else. Nigeria is that exception that you always find when they say there is an exception. Nigeria is the exception. Instead of us to be exception for greatness, we just still find ourselves being exception for anyhowness. Look at this headline here. Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Warri refineries may not get enough crude oil locally for production, minister says. Yes, you heard me right. The crude oil that God has given you people, that you have nyafu in Nigeria, they said it's not enough for them to give local refineries. First of all, as far as I'm concerned, and I've said this several times, in whatever language that I need to say it, and in whatever fora that I need to say it, that the biggest 419 we have in Nigeria are the refineries. Every time a new administration comes in, even with this illegal administration that is currently on ground, they will come with a sub story that, oh, they're going to fix the refineries, they're going to do this about the refinery is going to be well done, and all of that. And at the end of the day, billions of monies are spent. These refineries never come up, and there are people who are collecting salaries for doing nothing, for not doing anything. They collect very huge, humongous, fat salaries. Imagine how much is it that they pay NNPC workers, especially those that are at the refineries. For me, when they talk about former President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, I was like, okay, when they say something about, you don't speak ill of the dead, of course, he did his own in his own thinking, but those things that he did by reversing the sales of the refineries that were done, I think it was a huge disservice to Nigeria. Imagine if the billions, I'm sure by the time we calculate all the monies that have been spent from that time to now, they'll be going up to ₦1 trillion. Just imagine that those monies alone were no longer being spent. Kaduna refinery was sold to Dangote. Whatever he's doing with it, he would have either started working with it, made it work. Even if he does nothing with it, our own is that Nigeria will no longer be spending all of these monies that we constantly have been spending on rehabilitating something that cannot be rehabilitated. For goodness sake, one of the things about life is that human beings work with incentive. Most times there has to be an incentive for people to do something. Even worshiping of God, that we worship God, it's for the incentive of going to paradise rather than going to hellfire. There has to be an incentive. Oh, you go to school to get good grades, to get job, to get this, get married for this, for that, for that. There's always an incentive that people work toward. What is the incentive for people who are working in these refineries that are dead, that they don't do anything, are getting paid? What is the incentive for them to make the refineries work? I always ask this question. They're already getting paid for doing nothing. Then you now want them to come and be working, and it's not as if you are going to increase their salary. There's no incentive. They're not going to put anything in. There's too much corruption. Government shouldn't be in charge of this thing. Let government focus on tax, making policies, making laws, enabling environments for businesses to thrive, and then businesses can smilingly, the way I'm smilingly now telling you to subscribe to my channel. If you're not subscribing to my channel, what are you doing? Anyways, back to serious business. To smilingly pay them tax. That's what government is supposed to be doing, not to be dabbling in things that they know that they can't do. Here we are. Most of the times they are always gaslighting people about crude oil, telling people that, oh, it's the money they're using to send their children to school, it's the money they're using to pay medical fees out in other countries that is causing the dollar to do. They don't think about their own children that are going to those schools. So they want our own children to be slaves to their own children, so that it's only their children that will be having access to go to abroad to go and get education. They are not looking at the fact that the entourage that they used to go around, the vehicles that they brought from abroad is affecting naira. No, that is not. It is our own. see the money, and I've said this thing also several times, that look, the money, Nigeria is the biggest, the government is the biggest spender of our forest. What we use to buy refined petrol, that is part of the problem. That is the biggest part of the problem we have in Nigeria. The main place where we get our money from is by selling crude oil. We sell the crude oil, then we now go back and buy refined oil. Even the crude oil market, we are unable to meet our quota that is given to us because oil are being stolen. Crude oil theft is ongoing, and there's no how crude oil theft can go on without government's connivance. Government is part of those stealing crude oil. Nobody can come into Nigeria and steal crude oil without government involvement. There is no way. Like Peter Obi will always say, crude oil is not bread that you carry and put in your pocket. You see what is involved in it, you know there's no how anybody can do it without the knowledge of the authority. And we've also seen the other time, was it not how many is it 300 and something million, 300 and something $1,000 that the chief of naval staff, he was being accused, alleged to have taken as bribe. And even the people, the what you call the ex-militants, that Tombolo has come out to accuse them. Even the ex-militant, when they catch these people who are stealing crude oil, guess who it is that end up freeing them? The Navy. These are the allegations that they have come out to publicly made, and the Navy hasn't come out to, deny all of those things with facts. They're having one statement here or the other. But anyway, let me come back to this report and the thing that it says. It says Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Warri refineries may not get enough crude oil locally for production. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokobiri, who made this known on Tuesday, asserted that the refineries and modular refineries in the country may not get enough crude oil locally for the production of petroleum products without increase in production in the sector. The Nigerian government has stated that it will be very embarrassing if Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Warri, Dangote and Bua refineries don't have enough crude oil locally for the production of petroleum products after it finishes fixing them. In short, even Dangote have already said he's going to be getting his oil, I think from the US or something like that. There's no this. It's just crazy what the way Nigeria is, the craziness that happens in Nigeria and the things that go on. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, who made this known on Tuesday, asserted that the refineries and modular refineries, I don't know why newspapers always keep repeating the same thing that they've said before. The minister expressed the fear publicly for the third time in the last 4 months at the 2024 sector retreat for the ministry held yesterday in Abuja with the team building synergy for enhanced development in the oil and gas sector, according to Daily Toast. The retreat was said to have been convened to discuss how to achieve the targets and mandates set for the ministry by Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the ministerial retreat held in November 2023. He said the first target is to see how we can ramp up production and then we can meet our target in terms of increase in revenue, meet our obligation in the midstream and upstream. One of the challenges I'm afraid of is if we finish fixing our refineries, we'll be unable to get feedstocks. It will be very embarrassing. I will finish Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Warri, and Dangote Bua. We don't have it. This is all craziness. All of these fixing refineries are just conduit pipe for some people to keep looting our wealth. Simple as A, B, C, D. I said this is the biggest 419. Now they are telling that, oh, okay, so that you will not say, why is it that they are not yet producing? They've already bringing another excuse to tell you that, oh, there are no crude oil to give them. This one, that one. The report goes on to say Nigeria's Dangote refinery, and the largest in Africa, had January planned to import crude from the United States, a report has said. Traders with knowledge of the matter said Trafigura Group sold 2 million barrels of WTI Midland to Dangote refinery for end February delivery. Bloomberg. I have headache. Honestly, if Nigeria matter doesn't give you headache, sometimes it just like in the midst of wealth. You know when they say about something about people staying in the bank of the river and washing their hands with spittle. I think it was Chike and the River that I read. I think I read that. This is what it is. Honestly, this is what it is. This is what it is. Oh Lord have mercy. Nigeria just breaks your heart. We're supposed to be a great, amazing nation. We have everything. that is needed to make a country, be great. And yet we deliberately keep ourselves down just because some people want to be the ones to have the excess money. Wow. In the words of Gimba Kakanda, may God save us from us.